Okay, Marcus, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of the software. First of all, there's going to be a shortcut that we're going to have on your computer that's called Hexpod. I just named this 60OFEXE, but it's usually a Hexpod EXE. So the first thing you're going to do when your platform's powered up and you're ready to go, we're going to double click on this. It's basically just going to run minimize. You're not going to see anything, but I'm going to go ahead and open the window so you can see it. And this is basically all of the settings for your actuators, the 300mm stroke, and you know how much stroke length and things like that we have. So once you get your platform set up and I remote in, I'll get all this information plugged in here, and all of this is going to stay static and will never change. But every time you use the platform, you will have to open this application. There is one button here that we're going to have to push, which says hardware link is on. So right now, if we were to start a game, the platform would not move. This is basically your on-off switch for the platform. So once I take my mouse over here and I click this to on, you actually feel the platform shake a little bit, and you'll notice that the controller is now found on COM 7. The hardware link is on, and these are some test functions over here. Normally, I wouldn't ask you to do this. You know, we just basically use this for in-house testing, but I'm just going to do one here. Once the hardware is on, I can't tell if you noticed, but I'm actually moving the platform by sliding these sliders back and forth. You know, I'll hand my phone to my partner here so you can see how that works. So basically, this is the pitch, and if I move this slider, you want to do it gently so you don't throw yourself out of the chair, but you can see I'm getting the full pitch of the platform forward. And you can really feel the gravity when you do this. I'm sliding it back to center now, and I can go ahead and pitch it all the way back. So there's my pitch functions. All of the settings that we set up in here basically protect the actuators so that they don't run over their specified limits. So like I said, you know, once I have all these numbers punched in here, it won't let the servos go past their limits and nothing will break, which is a good thing. Go ahead and back up for me. All right, so we got the yaw. Let me just go ahead and do a quick roll here. You notice I'm sliding, rolling the whole entire platform, and showing me the position, coming back the other direction. I have my seatbelt on. Let's just roll. So I already showed you pitch and roll. Let's go ahead and show you yaw. It's yaw left. Yaw right. And the only reason it's a little jerky is because it's my hand. You know, I can, you know, snap this thing back and forth. It's nice and smooth. All right, so that's yaw, pitch, roll. The next one is sway, which you'll see it'll sway the whole platform left and right. That's a wild right. Okay, so that's sway. Next would be surge. Surge back. Surge forward. Back to center position. And this is basically the sensation you'll get if you, well, especially in the F14 on VCS, it has a really good afterburner feature. Unlike the F18, you don't feel so much of a kick in the ass. But when you slam your afterburners forward, you know, you'll feel the surge forward of the afterburners kicking on behind you, which really adds a lot to the simulation. So that's where you'll feel a lot of surge. You'll also feel that on the aircraft carrier. When you actually launch off the aircraft carrier, you'll feel a significant surge back and forth as it throws you off, makes it very realistic. And the next degree of freedom we have is heave. So you can see this is picking me up, and then straight down. So, you know, when you're climbing an altitude, you'll feel a noticeable heave up and down, which really brings the flight to life. And, you know, that associated with surge, sway, roll, pitch, and yaw, it's really going to give you a good feeling. Once you're finished with the platform, normally what I do is after my game's closed and I'm ready to get off, I'll go back to the minimized icon here, open this back up. And like I said, this is the only button you'll ever touch, is this hardware link is on or off. Everything else needs to stay the same or else it can cause damage. So you might want to take a couple of snapshots of this once we have it set up. Well, you could also back up the configuration file just in case maybe you clicked in here and changed something. We always need to make sure that all of these numbers are staying the same. And as long as you don't click and change any of these, you'll be fine. So if I'm done, I'm going to open the software back up from the minimized location. I'm just going to turn the hardware link off. Platform just jolted a little bit and went back to its home position. And then from there, I could go ahead and close this application. But if I'm ready to use the platform that's open, I'm going to turn my hardware link on. You'll have another shortcut on the software for Sim Tools. That's going to open up. And basically, this will have the parameters for all of your simulation games that you're going to be using. It sends a couple of things to the taskbar. So I'm going to show you this real quick. You can basically make this say anything you want. I will program all of this for you. Access assignments for DCS. There it is. I usually leave these on 70%. You normally don't want to ever set these at 100%. There is some fooling around that you could do with this, but this is pretty much optimized for DCS, and I'll set it the same way. This gives our roll the right direction. All of this will be pre-calibrated for you, and this will be the percentage. Like I said, Sim Tools and Hexpod. Hexpod knows the dimensions of your platform.